We're over, you know? We're on screen.
Mm.
They can see us. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I think they can hear us, too. I don't know.
Hmm.
That's not up to me to know.
Well, they can hear you anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, welcome to Super Serial Showtime, everyone. As always, I'm your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. We're here to talk about, I don't know, movies, shows, maybe some anime, comics, who knows? Who knows what we're going to hit? Except, actually, I do know, because there's a couple topics we're going to talk about today that we'll get into. So share it with all your friends, get people in here, if you even have any friends, I don't know. And, yeah, we'll have a good time. And if you really enjoy the show, at any point in time, you can always give a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitoriumlive. Really helps us out. And we'll start things. Marsupial is currently remote, as usual, but he's on his way here. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just a lot of coughing and, wheezing and hacking.
Normal stuff for you?
Yeah. Hopefully my voice will be, I feel like it's better than it's been over the weekend. So maybe by Thursday it'll be almost normal.
Almost. Yeah.
But I'll be a little quieter than usual.
Yeah. Though I guess at some point you have to wonder if you're one way more than the other, which way is actually normal, right?
Yeah. This might be normal.
Hopefully not.
I knew normal.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to pick up antibiotics today, but it wasn't ready, so see you tomorrow. Anyway, what's up?
Well, we've got at least two things I know we're going to talk about. I watched all of the King of the Hill reboot since the last time we were on, so I definitely want to talk about that.
Oh, wow, is it over already?
Well, they just uploaded a single season all at once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you watched more of it than I did, but I think I watched more than enough to have a good opinion on it. That horrible War of the Worlds movie. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And after that, we might even fumble into some news, or maybe we'll talk about some of the other stuff that we've been watching. But I think we probably have enough for a full show. So where do you want to start?
Oh, we can talk about War of the Worlds.
Okay.
Sort of War of the Worlds. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a vague resemblance.
Yeah. It's weird. So very recently, like within the last week, they dropped a new War of the Worlds movie that I didn't even hear about until we saw like the pop-up for it on Amazon, or you had known about it. You were telling me about it as I was sitting down for what we usually watch during dinner. And now everyone's talking about it. And it stars Ice Cube, who has always been very hit and miss with the films he's been in. I've enjoyed some of them, but not all of them. And he pretty much just plays a DHS kind of like, I don't even want to know what you would call it. A security admin is maybe the best thing you could call him. He does a lot of different things, but he's basically like a hacker for the government that watches people.
He seemed to be literally the only person in his entire building.
Yeah, more or less.
And pretty much maybe the only person in the entire Department of Homeland Security, because he was giving everyone all of this surveillance information. I'm like, are there no other people at all?
Yeah.
I mean, they're relying on him 100% for all the information all over the world. I was like, wow, it's one guy. Huh? That's crazy.
I guess they've replaced everybody with AI at this point,
Yeah.
You just need the one operator. And Fischoso says, I've heard nothing but bad things about Ice Cube's War of the Worlds. Well, you're not going to hear anything better from us, really.
Yeah.
I'd
say those bad things are accurate.
Valid.
Probably.
They're pretty valid. There were a couple things I liked about it in concept, not in execution, right? I think anything that would have been redeemable about this movie, other than I did laugh a couple times at it. There were some moments that were kind of laughable, but I think I was laughing more at the movie than with it.
Yeah, I don't think they were supposed to be funny.
Yeah. And it seemed like a movie where a lot of the decisions, I want to say they were actually more artistic than they were for budget saving, even though it looks like they're trying to save budget a lot in it, because then they go and they blow an equal amount of whatever they would have saved on any of the sequences that happen in the city. So I think there was just bad art. I think that's what it just comes down to.
Yeah, and the whole I guess the plot, the story, it seems that they've decided to do. As I've thought about it, it's kind of a mashup of War of the Worlds and Independence Day, because
Yeah, a little bit.
they put together this plan of the virus, and first virus didn't work, so they tried a different virus, and
Yeah.
it's like, wait, that's not how War of the Worlds goes. That's not the story. So they changed it, like,
Yeah, it's
in a way that kind of ruined the whole thing. So,
I'm trying to remember what that movie, because there was an old invasion movie, like a really, really old black and white B movie that wasn't War of the Worlds, but it had a very similar plot to it. Like if you go back to I don't know, maybe it came out in the 40s, but there was one where people sneezing killed the aliens. It's like they brought that into here, right?
Yeah. It wasn't the day the Earth stood still.
No, it was a different one. It was like one of those ones that at the time it was really famous, but its popularity didn't really escape its time. You know what I mean?
Was it V? Was it V?
I don't remember. I could not tell you. You could tell me the actual name, and I wouldn't even be able to tell you if it was right or not.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was also the one that inspired the Invader Zim episode where he's like afraid of germs.
Yeah. Okay. I imagine it was probably inspired by the original War of the Worlds radio broadcast.
Well, that's what I felt a lot about this one too, right? Was it felt like they were trying to bring things from the aspect of the original War of the Worlds, which maybe I should break down the actual concept a bit more before we get into that. So he is like this operator for the Department of Homeland Security, though in some ways it feels more like he's an NSA agent than anything, right?
Yeah.
But just this bland government operator who has like a supercomputer that can let him hack into anything just by telling it what to do. He doesn't even have to be good at it. And the entire film more or less takes place from his perspective, sitting in his office, his empty, solitary office. It looks like it should be an office for more people than just him. There's plenty of other devices and stuff around. And there are other perspectives, but they're all through like his computer screen. So he'll like take over cameras of phones or like what are supposed to be closed circuit television feeds, but somehow he has access to these cameras and all kinds of different things, and it'll pop up on his screen and you'll get a view of what's going on in the world, but just from his isolated perspective. And half of the movie is just like looking, maybe more than half of the movie, maybe like 3/4 of the movie is just literally his face looking into his webcam, right?
Yeah.
And that's
it's like 90%. Felt like. Can you still hear me?
No, yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you just fine. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm delayed or what. Anyway, I was just, and it was bizarre that, like, at one point, he tries to get out of the building, but it's been locked down. But there are literally no other people there. It's
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
It's like they pre-evacuated knowing this was coming, but they're like, no, man, you're screwed because we need somebody to stay here and do your job.
I guess.
They don't
But yeah, you're
explain
right.
it. I'm just
All he had
guessing
to
around,
know,
you know.
yeah, all he had to know, and they even demonstrates that really his only expertise is knowing the menus. It's magical, presumably AI-driven computer. I don't know.
Yeah, because his daughter
It looked
takes it
like,
over with like Microsoft Teams or something later, and she's able to do everything fine as long as he tells her what menus she should be looking under.
yeah, it's like, click this, and now click that. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can take over everything. Even took over a Tesla,
Yeah,
which,
which I did
yeah,
comment.
I
It's like
don't,
the only vehicle he actually would be able to do that with. So I guess they picked a decent
maybe,
one.
yeah, self-drove her somewhere, which I'm like, okay, I guess it got her away from the aliens, but was it,
He
was
was
she
trying to
even
get
at
her
a
to a
hospital?
hospital, but the
Yeah,
Tesla was like running out of battery,
yeah,
so it had to like pull over to a safe spot, and then tried to get what's his face, Mark, her fiance, baby daddy guy, to try to
yeah.
finish the job.
And I'm sorry if was he her fiance? I
I don't
mean,
know. I
yeah, I
think
guess,
he was at least like the child's father. I don't know if they were engaged or
yeah.
not.
Well, her partner, I guess,
Yeah, I don't
but
know. I came in like
I,
maybe halfway through the movie. I think I caught like half of
yeah,
it, which is also probably the only way I was ever going to watch this movie is because you already had it on. Fishoso asks, I don't
yeah.
know why you watched Ice Cube's War of the Worlds when you could watch Weapons instead. Personally, I didn't really have an interest in
Oh,
either of these movies, but I have a tendency that if something's on, I kind of just watch it anyway.
is Weapons available for streaming or is
I
it
have no clue.
only in
It's by the
theaters?
guy who made Barbarian, I think, right? He's going to be doing the
Yes,
Resident Evil movies.
yes. I'll tell you, if this is preview of what's to come, I think the Resident Evil movies are going to be really, really good,
Really? Because I didn't
from
like
what I hear.
Barbarian at all. I went and watched it when I heard he was going to make the Resident Evil movie.
Yeah.
And I watched and it's like, this movie's kind of like up its own ass.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen it, but
Maybe Weapons is better.
uh,
It's gotten a lot better reviews than Barbarian did. Barbarian, I think, got like a
yeah,
total review of like a C, and Weapons is getting like an A plus. So that there could be a huge
yeah,
difference. I might like this one.
yeah. Well, I heard about it. People were talking about going to see it, and then when they did, they really liked it. It got a great review from Critical Drinker
Yeah.
and from Yellow Flash. And I watched the trailer, and it's intriguing. It's apparently it's a horror movie, but it's also a character study. So it's
Okay.
got some really good character development.
Well, that's good
So
to hear.
it looks interesting. It's clearly an allegory for school shootings and stuff like that, but that's just sort of background. It's not that it's not preachy. It's not in your face. It's more like what happens to a community that's sort of suddenly like the whole
Okay.
community is
Well, he probably
traumatized.
just needed experience. Fish Justice says one of the whitest kids you know, guys, which I believe we looked that up before when we were looking into his background when for the Resident Evil movies. Maybe he just learned, he had to get some experience because the thing with Barbarian was like it was very much supposed to be a movie about like women not feeling safe around strange men and stuff like that, and the movie felt a little too heavy-handed on that, and I had a
Yeah,
hard time enjoying it. But if people are enjoying it, it's like, well, growing pains. You have to get through a movie or two
yeah,
before you actually get good at layering your ideas and messaging into actual script.
yeah. I think that's what people like.
Hmm.
I guess Hollywood people and people who like to be snarky about it don't quite understand is that in reality we don't mind. I guess you could say political messaging
Yeah.
in media, but it has to be hidden. It has to be subtle. It has to be like, not the main thing. So yeah, I mean, this seems like a genuinely good um horror movie with good writing and really good acting, great characters and stuff. So it's like, okay, I don't mind that it's maybe about, maybe has some stuff that might
Well,
be
Fitzjoseph
rooted
says
in
the
it.
allegory is alcoholism, not school shootings.
Okay.
Yeah, which I don't know. I haven't
Well,
seen anything about this. I haven't even watched any of the reviews you watched, so I can't really say.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's also a good thing about it is that it's up for interpretation.
Yeah.
So maybe it is. I've not seen it yet. So I'm just going off what I've heard because basically you learn from the trailers that, an entire classroom of kids disappears one night. They disappear from their homes. Um, but it's really strange because it's just one classroom in an
Yeah.
entire school. And so, of course, people are blaming the teacher, people are blaming the school, people are just, freaking out and, trying to find the kids and figure out what happened. And yeah, it might be about alcoholism. I don't know. The point is, it's up for interpretation. That's, I think, the mark of a
Yeah.
good
Well,
movie.
that's also if you're writing it right, I wouldn't even call messaging political, right? Like I think it's
Yeah,
we would call it political when it's like ham-fisted, when
yeah,
it's trying to maybe even be like propaganda or not. But if you're actually trying to make like a piece of art, moralistic messaging has been an art since like the dawn of time, right? And I think you could work a good moral, a good theme, and a
yeah.
good idea into a story. Yeah,
And even if it is about school shootings, it's not about it. Apparently, it's not about like the, the event itself. It's more about the aftermath and the effects on a community when an enormous tragedy
yeah,
occurs. So that's something. Even if you've not experienced it, I think everyone can sort of relate to, and or at least be interested in finding out. How would people act and interact and stuff like that. So it sounds kind of sad, but also I think it's very interesting and action packed, and there's maybe some supernatural horror going
yeah.
on. I don't know. So yeah, I guess we don't really need to talk about War of the Worlds anymore.
Oh, well,
it
I
just
did want
it
to
was just
say a few
that.
things about it. Otherwise, because
Uh,
especially because I don't really have anything to say on weapons. I'm learning everything about it, like literally right now, aside from like who it was made by. So the things I did want to say about War of the Worlds, we're comparing it to why it's different from the other ones. I was going to say I was going to bring out some of the reasons why it was kind of trying to be like the original radio play, but also fails to do that at
yeah,
the same time. Um, because every previous film adaptation of War of the Worlds has always tried to turn it into a straight line film narrative, like it's any other sci-fi film altogether, right? Or disaster film, sci-fi disaster. And that's fine, it works. But I've just never been happy with any version of War of the Worlds that I've seen. Happier than I was with this by far, but like I've never liked any version of the War of the Worlds because you can go and you can listen to at least parts. I don't know if the full thing's anywhere, but you could read the scripts from the original one too. And as a radio play, it's just much better. And like the artistic concept of what they were doing, trying to make it seem like it was an actual news program that was breaking everything down to unsuspecting people. It's a really, really good piece of art that none of the movies have ever gotten right. And this one, I think, was trying to do something cool where everything was just like glimpses of what was going on from a person's perspective. But then they still, again, execution being an issue, not having good actors play almost anyone. I like Ice Cube in some roles, but he's not a particularly good actor. And they also still dropped the ball by making it a narrative around him and his family at the end of the day, and not about the actual events that are going on. What I would have liked to seen, and I mentioned this to you after we watched the movie, is I would like to see something that's more along like a mockumentary that was like late night with the devil, but like a news show. Like you were just, or like the Onion News Network. You remember the Onion News Network? Something like that, but just we're watching a news program reporting on the events the entire time. And I guess a lot of people don't have faith that a general audience would like that, but it would be such a low budget movie to make, especially if you were going to put it on streaming, that I don't know why you wouldn't just take the risk.
Take what risk?
For just making a War of the Worlds that's basically like watching a breaking news network the entire time.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it would be so low budget that it's like even if you didn't get a bunch of people to watch it, you'd probably still get enough people to make up for and profit off of it even too.
Yeah, it would have to be like an indie film. So someone would somehow have to get the rights to do something like that, because I don't know if a studio would take that chance. But I mean, it's like you said, could be very low budget. So I don't know why they don't.
Or the other one, which I mentioned too, and Fischosa just brought up, if you made it like a found footage film, similar to like Cloverfield, it could work like that too. Especially in the day of the internet. That could be fine, like you're watching somebody's like YouTube channel or whatever that's updating everything that's going on, like a streaming. Like you're watching the War of the Worlds unravel live on stream. That could work too conceptually.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been done a little bit, like with Cloverfield and stuff. But
that's why I kind of went towards something closer to like you're actually watching a news broadcast, because it'd be closer to the original, and we wouldn't just be remaking War of the Worlds like Cloverfield.
Yeah, as it was kind of like even one step removed from it. It was like you're watching someone who's reacting to the broadcast, and it's like, well, that's not interesting.
Yeah.
You know, they took it a little too far, I think. It was kind of weird.
War of the Worlds, like the original one, the radio play, is so old. I actually wonder if, obviously Trademark, their studios own the, MGM Studios owns the trademark to War of the Worlds. I wonder if the idea, though, like the scripting of the original is public domain. Like, I mean, you could just make something like it anyway. It wouldn't have to be close to the original script. But if we just called it something else, I think a small indie studio could probably just do something that fits the concept better.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the exact same plot, just call it something else, I guess.
Yeah. It was so weird, too, that, like, the aliens were here for our information. They wanted to eat all of our data, basically. Because that's the day and age we live in. Yeah.
Sorry, I needed a second there. Yeah, that was the dumbest part of the whole movie. That was incredibly dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, what? They're going to eat ones and zeros, and how's that going to mean anything to them?
Like, how would you sustain yourself on that, you know?
I mean, like, so would they be able to tell the difference between an empty hard drive and one that was full of data that was meaningless or meaningful to us?
Because, like, the hard drive still technically is information. You just overwrite the empty space. So it's like, what's the actual difference?
I mean, it's just random ones and zeros. Like, what? It made no sense. And it was just like, you're sitting there looking at Facebook excuse me, static page, and like his pictures are disappearing. I'm like, that's not how anything works.
Not at all.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
So
it was
stupid.
definitely like a big thing about this movie altogether was nobody understood how technology works that's working on
Yeah,
that film. They have like an idea of how technology works, and it's not even close to right.
yeah. And correct me. Well, I guess that. I was thinking about like when you refreshed the page and I got 404 error. I guess it didn't show the Facebook. It would have been even worse if it
Yeah,
had shown like the Facebook specific 404, but it was just like the
I saw the Google dinosaur
whatever it
at one
is.
point.
Yeah, the Google, which I guess is what the browser just does if it can't find
Yeah,
anything. But it would have been funny if it had been like the Facebook 404, which would be like, wait, why didn't they eat that page?
yeah, yeah,
So dumb.
yeah. And it's like, it, how did they know about our information, right? Like, because it would take forever to get here, even if they could move at the speed of light, right? And they slowed down when they got close, or faster. Still, like, they would have had to have been watching us, getting information from us since we started sending out radio waves. And it's like, why couldn't they just radio waves are information? You just eat that at a distance. Why would you kill off
Yeah.
your food source? Why not just like ambiently enjoy the fact that we're just spewing out information all the time? The whole plot's ridiculous.
If they're eating data, whatever that is, yeah, they could just get it over Wi-Fi and just connect on Bluetooth or something.
Yeah.
Like, why do they have to
Copy.
be in physical? Yeah, just why do they have to be in physical contact? And yeah, exactly. Why do they have to delete the data that they quote unquote eat? Like, what? None of it made sense. It was so
Nothing.
dumb.
And it made less sense the further the movie went on.
Yeah, I just yeah, I don't even want to think about it. Like, the more you think about it, the more aggravated I get. Like,
And then they were
wrong.
they were a mix of technology and biotics, right? Like they had DNA and everything, which is how they figured out what was it? They could rewrite the DNA to destroy themselves or something like that. And
yeah,
the thing about that is, like, if they still have biological systems, then they definitely also still need to feed off of something else anyway.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Plus, what really it went from dumb to dumber when they first like a computer try to stop them, and they did that in like 5 minutes. So I'm like, what? Okay, how did they write that so quickly?
Yeah.
But then they came up with like a thing that could remotely rewrite them, and guys, but biological, and it put Project Warp Speed to shame because they did that in like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like, wait, how'd you come up with that? Oh, it's so crazy. How did you come up with this magical biological virus that somehow transmits over computers?
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
They had to get into like a jump drive or something for like the DNA rewriting part. It was so stupid. Oh, the other part too is like he brought his like whole hacker squad on at one point too. Like the son turned out to be like the hacker that's been spying on the government the whole time and releasing their information. And like his whole squad just gets destroyed by the aliens the second they try to put in their computer virus.
yeah,
But he's fine because he was basically using like a VPN to bounce his signal to the house. The problem is if they were at his house in person and they get all the raw data, why couldn't they tell where his signal was being bounced from?
yeah, because he was like right next door.
Yeah.
I think. Or is at a friend's house, probably
Like down on the other side of town or something, you know?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that. Plus, why was he the only one that was smart enough to not
wouldn't
be doing this from his own house.
all these elite world like hackers be bouncing their information all the time anyway?
Maybe they're, what's it? NordVPN subscriptions ran out or
Yeah.
something.
Like right at that moment.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's horrible. I don't know why we watched that instead of literally anything else. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I heard it was bad.
I'm kind of
So
glad.
it's good.
I'm glad I watched what I did. I won't watch the rest that I missed. I think I got all the experience I need, but I'm glad that I watched it. It definitely wasn't so bad it was good, but it was bad enough that I have a fond memory of the horrible experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can laugh about it. Yeah. But yeah, I guess
I've seen The Room. Okay, like
you did miss the part where he's watching his daughter creepily when she's at a coffee shop or a little, I don't know, takeaway restaurant kind of place, telling her that she should be eating different things, and then he somehow hacked into her refrigerator that had a camera on the inside, and so he could tell what junk food she had in there. And then at some point, like, she changed the password, I guess, to her phone.
like that would stop somebody like him.
Yeah, he came up with the password in 15 seconds. It was crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fridge thing's, I guess, somewhat realistic. I don't know why everybody wants everything on the internet now. I want less devices hooked up to the Wi-Fi for two reasons.
Yeah.
One, anything that's hooked up to Wi-Fi does just become something that people can use to spy on you. But the second one is anything that's hooked up to your Wi-Fi is just one more thing stealing bandwidth from the devices you actually want to use the internet. I want dumb devices, you know? I want like an old fridge that doesn't even have a computer in it. I have to tune it by hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there are refrigerators that determine what's in your fridge and like to give you a grocery list or something.
Yeah, or they do have a camera that you can access from the grocery store, like from your phone. There's an app and you can look. Oh yeah, I am low on eggs.
Yeah.
That's why they started making egg cartons see-through, so you could tell how many eggs you have.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I bet you her fridge cannot run Heartbound.
Probably
That's
not.
what I'm thinking.
It would probably crash the fridge.
I think so. It would be way too slow.
I was in a stream, and someone was they were talking about how they don't understand how people play Genshin on phones or iPads, even though that's actually how the majority of people did. It's like, yeah, real Genshin players play on their Samsung refrigerators.
Yeah. Well, when it first came out, I could not play it. I think I had a iPhone 7. No, it wasn't. It was something 10 or whatever. It was several generations back.
Yeah.
And I definitely could not. I tried, but it was too slow. So
yeah,
you have to have a pretty recent device. Or were you saying that it was? Is it just that they didn't understand why people or how people could play it?
The control wise
with their thumbs. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was more the thing. Most Samsung fridges are probably strong enough to play Genshin at this point. If you have like a really new one, because they're basically just a phone on your fridge.
I doubt it. I mean, it seems like they put the cheapest, shittiest CPUs. It's like the TV, my TV, is incredibly slow because it's just got, whatever the most basic CPU that can,
Well, I'm taking that back anyway because they have been updating Genshin. They could probably play the original version because a toaster could run that. But now the PS4 isn't going to be able to play it. So they've been updating it enough that that's probably still not the case. But anyway, that reminds me of is, have you ever seen Everybody Hates Chris?
A little bit.
Yeah, I used to love that show, mostly because the dad was played by Terry Crews, and in it, Terry Crews' character was kind of getting like really upset about their electricity bill, and one of the things that obviously was pulling it up was people opening and closing the fridge all the time, because the fridge is one of the sources, or the highest sources of electricity in your house, the compressor. So he what he did was he started putting a limit on how long the fridge door could be open and how often people could open it. And he's like, I don't want you opening this door unless you know what you're taking out of it. So what he started to do is he had a Polaroid camera, and he would take like a picture of what was in the fridge on grocery day, like after they restocked. And then he, if something was taken out, they would put like a red Sharpie mark through the thing that is no longer in the fridge anymore. And that's kind of like what those cameras remind me of. It's like a more efficient way of doing that.
Yeah. Needs a more efficient fridge, sounds like.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, they also lived in inner city New York, so their electricity bill was probably a lot higher than it needed to be anyway.
Yeah.
They probably got upcharged.
Depending on who they elect next, could be much, much higher.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That was a good show. I never disliked an episode of Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have anything more to say about that movie.
Yeah,
Do not
about
watch it. It's a waste of time. Complete waste.
Unless you like bad things.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I mean, I like bad things. You know, like I don't think I'll ever finish or rewatch this, but I do enjoy watching bad things from time to time.
Sometimes. You know, I watched what's it called? Solo Leveling. So, you know,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah. Like I said,
you know what?
I've seen The Room, Surf Nazis Must Die. I have a list of like bad things I've watched.
I still have yet to watch a single episode of At the NES Punk. I heard that's really, really awful.
Oh, yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, I don't want to really talk about it at all, but I've watched a few episodes of Rising of the Shield Hero.
Oh,
so
my condolences.
That's interesting. Yeah. You know what it reminds me of, oddly enough? It is a much tamer version of Redo of Healer. I mean,
yeah, I can see the comparisons. Yeah.
Yeah. Beat for beat, except it's much, much tamer. I mean, there is, as far as I can tell, well, I don't want to say none, but there was no, there's far, far less sex. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, see, that's my, I agree with Fizchozo here. I did try to watch it when it was like the new hype thing, and I actually like quite a few of the characters. I think the cast could be likable. I just don't think I like the story, right? Like the main premise isn't fine. It goes downhill really fast. It takes a nosedive.
Well, I don't want to get into it because I don't think I've even gotten through season 1, so
yeah,
we'll see. But I did actually recently watch at least the only season there is of Redo of Healer, and that's that gets really rough pretty fast. I mean, people talk about the Red Hot Poker scene, but oh no, it gets much worse.
Yeah,
much worse.
Yeah. Something that's not bad at all. I actually caught up today with City, the animation, which there's only 6 episodes out, and the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. It's just really goofy, chaotic, all over the place. My type of show. There was actually a really cool sequence. I think it was in episode 5, where there was so much going on that they actually basically comic paneled the show, which was really hard to keep up with, because at one point there was like maybe 8 frames on the screen, I think. I don't know. I actually, here, I took a picture of it with my phone. I'll go put it into the Discord in the animation chat.
Is it more or less chaotic and random as my dear friend Nokotan? Or then?
Less, like, it's oh, I would say almost as equally chaotic at times, but it's less random.
Okay.
Where is the animation channel? There it is. Flitz here. Did I miss the King of the Hill discussion? No, you did not. I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm currently talking about City. Here, I'll post in the one that I didn't accidentally snap my feed in. There we go. Just in case people want to see it, I'm not pulling it up on screen just because you know how my computer is. I don't want to risk anything. But if you want to see what I'm talking about, it is in the animation channel of the Discord. And like, they actually clip several different like frames, panels on the screen that are all moving at once. Only one of them has any audio to it, but it'll switch around which one is the main one. This is a sequence that goes on for maybe 5 minutes, I think, of the show. I really appreciate it artistically. Thankfully, there's nothing that's like important going on necessarily in the panel you're not currently listening to. It's just kind of moving people along. But there are like little gags and Easter eggs going on. So you kind of like your eye is darting back and forth to try to catch everything that's happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It was kind of neat.
Yeah, I like when things are kind of going on in the background that maybe you miss the first time and might watch it again and see funny stuff that you missed.
Because the plot of the episode is that there is this really rich family. I think they're the Tanaka family. And the current like head of the household, the lady of the family, is just like, she awards people for being nice, whether they want to be awarded or not. And one of the characters ended up like catching her umbrella as it was flying away, even though the umbrella still got ruined, and then she just put it on the ground anyway. But she's like, oh, I think I'm going to award this person. So like an episode later, the butler finally tracks her down and like kidnaps her with a chain from like Scorpion style a block away, just like pulls her into the limo, takes her, and then like leaves her in the top of a tower. Is like, this is the guest waiting room. It's a very nice waiting room. It's got like fully stocked fridge, wine cooler, hot spring up there and everything. But the elevator has no buttons on the outside. Like, once you're up there, you're stuck there until they decide to hold the award ceremony. And she meets this other guy who they finally caught, who's like the nicest guy in town. And this is like the 3rd time they've tried to give him an award. It's like, this time we're going to break free. Because they give you the option to escape, but you have to get past all of these like guard floors at the bottom of the tower that are all just like ridiculous and stupid. So while they're trying to escape, they're showing other things going on in the city. And the very first time, where they only show 2 panels, is like her friend is trying to hunt down her lock or whatever. It actually shows like this little Dragon Quest 1-ish or Dragon Quest 2 style like sprite thing on the very side of the picture, and it shows them going like down a tower over and over. There's even some like random encounters before it gets back to like actual animation, and there's a bunch of just like tiny, quirky, fun little things going on there. I actually highly recommend people watch City if they have access to it, or even if they don't have access to it.
Yeah, it sounds wacky.
It is. It's very.
I have not watched it yet. Might have to watch at least one episode to see if it's my kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. I think I mentioned this when I saw the first episode. They are clearly using 3D models for everything, but most of the animation is flattened to look 2D, and I think they do a really good job for most things. There are times, though, where it does look like they're moving around in a model playset, even though everything's flattened. But I think it's fine, because I think that might even work for artistic decisions. There's a lot of almost like isometric shots where everybody's like not drifting off into the distance, like they're all the same scale, and it looks like they're in like a model city, and I think that works for the theme.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I miss isometric. I miss isometric video games.
Yeah. Like back when Diablo was good.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Is that on Amazon too? Or is that something else?
That is on Amazon, yes.
Okay.
But it says, is it City the animation? If so, I have access to it, if you catch my meaning. Jolly Roger. That is what I meant when I said, or if you don't have access to it.
Yes. Still recommend you watch it.
Yes. And Fizz says, I don't get why you flatten CGI, just make it like a Pixar movie. Well, to make something look good like a Pixar movie takes more talent than most people have.
More money.
Right? To the point that like even Pixar can't even really do it anymore, because I don't think the last like few movies they made look good. You know? To be fair though, a lot of their talent has been like sniped from Pixar and moved over to Disney's 3D animation studio, because the previews from Zootopia 2, while I'm not interested in the story, the animation looks good. So it's like Pixar's just lost a lot of their best talent. But also 2D animation just looks better than 3D animation, so
yeah. I bet some of them went to Illumination too, and
probably
DreamWorks.
Yeah. But for the budget they given Anime Studio, which is nowhere near what they would even give any of these studios for a show. Illumination's done shows before. DreamWorks has done shows before too. Their budget is a fraction of like what the Kung Fu Panda show got per episode. So these shortcuts, while a lot of them are for artistic purposes, are also for budget-saving purposes, to hide a lot of what wouldn't look good if they didn't flatten it.
Yeah. What is Dan Lasseter went and did that Luck movie. I guess that was for, I know it was on the Apple TV, but I don't know if that was Apple Studios or something like that.
What movie? You cut out.
Luck. It's called Luck, I think.
Never heard of it.
Okay. Well, it's on Apple TV.
That's probably why I never heard of it. I don't know of most things that are on Apple TV. I think I've seen like one or two things that have been on it.
Yeah. Well, I'm home. Let's see if I get cut off now.
And I agree, Flynn. Hand-drawn 2D animation is the peak. It is the peak.
Yeah.
The only studio that still wants to... Well, I mean, I guess technically a lot of digital animation is still hand-drawn. Like, there is a lot of it that is done on tablets, even when they do use models for cheating scenes. But I miss Cell, right, which I think is part of what you're talking about. And the only studio that still wants to do Cell is Don Bluth's, and they got set back by quite a bit since they started right before COVID, and I don't think they've ever recovered.
Oh. I didn't know he was still doing stuff.
Yeah, they're still working on it, but one of the things is they had to completely create a new manufacturer for cells.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, where are you going to get that? Interesting.
And I think he also knows that he's just getting too old. So he's got his like VP assistant, which is I'm trying to remember, Lavelle Lee, I think is his name. We're mutuals on Twitter. I'm just trying to exactly remember. And I think he's basically trying to get it to the point that Lee can take over everything before they actually go into production.
Just testing. Can you still hear me? Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Cool. I don't know why sometimes Discord just acts weird. I forget how did we get into that topic? Oh yeah, city.
City, yeah.
So, well, there's style and then there's writing and artistic, vision and stuff. So sounds like they're, doing what they want to do. It's not soulless and, boring like most Disney stuff.
Where's the dono goal to get Marsupial a real mic? He has a real mic at his computer.
Yeah.
His mic is actually better than mine. His voice isn't in a better condition than mine right now, but he's of the two of us, he's got a real mic. I'm the one sitting here doing tricks and stuff to make my Yeti actually sound nice enough.
Yeah, I'll turn on the mic in a minute. I'm just trying to get settled here. Need to get a drink.
Yeah, Flit and Joshua don't really care for the amazing digital circus. That's fine. It's not going to be for everyone.
Is there a new episode?
I don't know. Flit just brought up the fact that we talk about a lot. You tried watching it after like 20, or probably not even after 20 minutes, after 10 minutes, because I think they're only half-hour episodes. He's like, oh, there's still 20 minutes left of this? He's just not feeling it. Honestly, there are points where I feel that in that show, too. Like, on the average, I end up liking the episodes, but I don't think, like, every bit of it's good. Like, it drags on. I tend to prefer the Looney Tunes stuff more than anything, and it wants to jump into the whole, like, what's the existentialism, that's the word I'm looking for, a little too much. It tries to play both fiddles, and I think it plays one better than the other, but it doesn't want to drop the other one. Oi. See, Fitzjoseph says, I'm surprised Take My Muffin is still going, even though I forgot about it for a year or two. It's an adult indie animation about a team of scammers coming up with weird inventions. Yeah, I saw you post a thing about it. It looked dumb. But not like dumb in a way that I'd enjoy it. Because I do like a lot of dumb things. I think a lot of people like a lot of dumb things. They just... Everybody's got their own dumb thing that they enjoy. Because, to be real, most cartoons are dumb. There's not a lot of, like, truly genius cartoons. I watched the thing you shared. For like, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds. I was busy. I could not watch more than that. I do want to get to talking about King of the Hill. I don't know if how long it's going to take Marsupial to get back in. I see his mute button. Your audio finally cut out. No, I cannot hear you. Were you trying to say things this whole time? Oh. Oh, no, I'm cut in half. Where are we? You know what? Maybe I'll just wait cut in half. It looks like he's back.
Here I am.
There you are.
Oddly, can you hear me now?
Yeah. I can hear you. I don't know if your audio is good, though. You need to at least talk for a couple more seconds. No. No, if he is talking, I can't hear him anymore. What's going on here? I don't know. Technical difficulties, always. One of the things is when you're on the phone, right, and you hit the Wi-Fi, a lot of times it just cuts. I have the opposite problem. I normally don't have a problem coming back in. Oh, there you are.
Sorry. Yeah, just my headphones wouldn't connect.
Yeah.
I'm back. How's my microphone now?
Okay.
You can hear every rasp of my voice.
I just had to rebalance your audio because I had to pull it down when you were on your ear pods or whatever they are.
Well, here I am.
Yeah. Anyhow.
So, King of the Hill.
King of the Hill came back. Technically last week, I think. It was on August 4th. They dropped the whole season. And I watched enough to talk about it last week, but we didn't end up having the show. But since then, I've watched the entire thing, all like 10 episodes. And I've got quite a bit to say about it. Mostly positive, actually, except for the first episode. I think the only episode I had any issue with was the first episode. I think the first episode more or less sucked. And it was because it was basically a pilot again. They repiloted King of the Hill. They had to give you basically all the information about what was happening while they were gone. They couldn't slowly trickle it in through the season. They're like, nope, we've been gone in Saudi Arabia this whole time. This is what everybody's been up to. And a lot of what they did in that episode didn't matter anyway, right? Like they were effectively still the same afterwards. They were all bits. Like Bill apparently got really depressed and was like, during COVID, stayed inside and never left. And he became like a blob that wasn't shaven in his bed, and people would, like, the delivery people would just like leave food in the hedges in front of his window. And he'd gotten so asocial that he couldn't remember like what a window was. He was calling it the wall hole, things like that. It was a funny bit. But then like by the next episode, Hank had already gotten him out of his room, and he's like normal, still not mentally right Bill, but normal Bill. And there's a lot of stuff like that where like, you could skip the first episode and be perfectly fine watching the other 9. As Flit said, the first episode had a lot of work to do. It was a catch-up episode. After that, though, I enjoyed every episode. It felt like classic King of the Hill to me. And maybe for a lot of people who don't remember classic King of the Hill, maybe it's a little disappointing to them. But King of the Hill's always just kind of been a semi-satirical contemporary commentary show that was like a North Texas slice of life animation, right? Where it was kind of lightly poking fun at anybody who might live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Specifically Dallas. They always refer to as being in Dallas. It didn't matter who you were, right? It made fun of the Hills as much as it made fun of everyone else. And it was just kind of like we can all laugh together type of show. And it still feels like that. It still feels like a we can all laugh together kind of show. Even when things come up, like for a good portion of the season, Connie is trying to be like this non-monogamous, with it's ethical non-monogamy is what she calls it, E&M. And it's like, okay, yeah, that totally fits in the character of Connie, who was raised by her parents and everything. And by the end, she bounces out of it too. You know, so it's like, it's a bit that makes sense to the character, and that's most of everything. And I enjoyed it a lot, especially being somebody who was from the area. Because even when they brought in new people, like, yeah, no, I know people like that. There was this character, Willow, that existed for a couple episodes, who was dating Bobby. I was like, yeah, I've known people exactly like Willow. You know, Joseph was the highlight of the whole show.
Really?
Yeah, Joseph Gribble. Because he's grown up to look even more like John Redcorn, but because of his raising, he's acting even more like Dale. He's basically just a young Dale. He's an idiot who just, his brain bounces around everywhere. He can't stay focused on anything. He is just as paranoid as Dale is. There's even a couple times where, or one time specifically, where Bobby and Hank are trying to beat each other in like a local beer brewing contest. And the old guys and the young guys see it as a competition between the generations. So Joseph is trying to help Bobby win by getting like dirt on one of the judges, the judge whose opinion pretty much matters. And so is Dale, and they run into each other at the same time. It's like, I've taught you well. Yeah.
It likes that too.
I agree that the Bobby Joseph stuff was the best part of the whole show. I wish they focused more on it, more on the secondary generation, but obviously they had to balance because, you know, the original cast and everything. Which a lot of the original cast was around. During production, they lost two different people. The actor for Dale and the actor for John Redcorn had passed away within like the last year. I know Dale was in for the first 7 episodes. And what's really funny is you'll hear this a lot, where a lot of people are like, oh, the new actor for Dale isn't that good. And they're talking about like the beginning. It's like, well, actually, for the first 7 episodes, that was the old actor. The thing is, though, he was sick. You know, he was already in that disrepair section during recording. So he just doesn't sound as good as he used to. The guy who plays him for the remaining 3 episodes and will continue for the series if they make more was the guy who used to play Khan. If there's one thing that modern sensibilities has changed, that Khan is voiced by an actual like Laotian now. But the guy who voiced him is now voicing Dale, and he sounds closer to how the actor used to sound. Redcorn was murdered earlier this year. But he sounds closer to the voice of the old Dale than he did before he passed away. Yeah, the new guy sounds nothing like Khan. I think the only thing that is passable for it is that some people's voices do change dramatically over their life. I mean, look at Mark Hamill when he was in the first Star Wars versus him now. And now he just sounds like the Joker when he talks normally, right? Because that was the progression of his voice. You can kind of headcanon that even though he sounds nothing like Khan, that's just like what life did to him. And I think it's kind of passable. And they have the advantage of time, right? Yeah, they took a shot at the VA thing with a Speedy Gonzalez conversation, which I liked because the Hispanic actor or character in the room when they were talking about voice acting and Speedy Gonzalez was like, Speedy Gonzalez isn't a racist, he's a hero. Which is true. Almost every single Mexican I know loves Speedy Gonzalez, despite white Karens and stuff trying to be like he's a racist figure. It's like, no, dude. Every single Mexican loves Speedy Gonzalez. It was talking about like Mel Blanc in it too, which like Bobby knew, but Joseph had absolutely no idea who Mel Blanc was, like at all.
Yeah.
But I thought all the humor was great.
I don't know why they wouldn't love Speedy Gonzalez since he's always winning, and isn't that what representation is supposed to be? I mean,
Yeah. Well, and it's like they have both in there, but like you have his cousin Slowpoke, right? And there's like this really bad stereotype about like lazy Mexicans, but like literally right there you also have Speedy, who's the exact opposite of that stereotype. So it's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong here at all. It's a positive representation of like Mexican culture with a speedster character, because the dude's like super fast. I think it's ridiculous when people call Speedy Gonzalez racist. I think they just don't like the fact that a white guy voiced him.
Yeah.
I think that's like, and that white people drew him and came up with the character and everything. I think that's like the real issue, but it's like that's not an issue if every Mexican loves him. Same with like Heckle and Jekyll. Which most of their stuff is in Mexico, though I think they technically live across the border, so some of their stuff was in Texas too. But like every Mexican I know, like Heckle and Jekyll as well. It's like any character whose like story took place in Mexico back then. Like Mexico's like, yeah, Mexican characters, yeah. Every Mexican I know also liked it when Mario wore the sombrero in Odyssey, you know?
Yeah. I don't think Heckle and Jekyll were Mexican, were they?
Well, they're magpies. They lived in southern North America, and they were often all over that area. Like I said, sometimes they were in Mexico or whatever. I wouldn't say as characters they are particularly Mexican, but most of those type of magpies you'll find in like the southern United States in Texas or in northern Mexico.
Okay. I actually had no idea.
Yeah. I drew a lot of them because
haven't seen
my
that show.
Uncle Al really liked Heckle and Jekyll.
What is Mexican?
She's confirmed. Yeah. He drew so many Speedies in high school, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to draw those cartoon characters all the time.
Well, is it going to have a second season or another season?
I don't know. I haven't heard confirmation on it. It might have, and I just missed it. But it was great, honestly. As somebody who saw the majority of King of the Hill as it aired originally, some of it I had to catch reruns of the same week. But after a certain point, I ended up attending like youth group every Sunday. So and that's when King of the Hill would premiere, was on Sundays. So I'd have to catch it like when it reran on Tuesday that week. But like I watched King of the Hill its entire run. I loved most of it. I thought it was kind of weak at the end, especially when they started focusing on like Luann and Lucky, which was Tom Petty's character. But I'll say I think this was stronger than it ended. I think it was stronger than the Lucky days of King of the Hill.
That's good,
Yeah.
I guess. I was just looking up Heckle and Jekyll.
Yeah, Heckle and Jekyll are great.
Apparently, I completely forgot about this, but like one of them speaks with a New York accent, and the other is British.
Yeah, it's like, it's crazy, right? They could be anything because they're just magpies, but most of their cartoons take place in the southern United States.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, you could get magpies anywhere. Like, magpies can literally be anywhere, but the breed of magpie that they are is that breed of magpie. But they have magpies in Europe. They have magpies in Japan, even. Like, there's Asian magpies. They're a corvid that is closely related to a crow, but they are not true crows.
They're not ravens.
Nope.
Mhm. All right. Hey there, Cross Comics.
Yep.
Rick's in the chat. Rick is
But
up
I
in the
also, I think, like I said before, King of the Hill is one of those ones that like tons of people love around the world. There's Japanese people who like King of the Hill, right? It's especially because it fits like that slice of life anime vibe a little more, and it has like that continuous storytelling. And then there's a lot of people that of different cultures like it. But if you're from the area, I think you tend to kind of like it a little more than anyone else. And I grew up in basically the exact area that it takes place. Which, it's called Arlen, Texas. It's not a real city. It is kind of in between Arlington. In fact, I think Arlington, Texas would be the particular city it would have been based off of. And there's also, like, Garland is up there, too. A few names that are very similar to it. But since, like, they emphasize the football even more, even though all Texas cities are obsessed with football. Jerry World, which is in Arlington, Texas. And I lived in Arlington for a little bit, but I was usually like a town or two right over there. It's like, when I watch King of the Hill, it's a reflection of my own childhood almost, like watching Bobby in school and everything. And then now, even as an adult, it's still like a reflection of how that area became.
Yeah, I can't relate.
Yeah.
Even though I lived most of my life in Nashville, Tennessee. But I guess I knew of neighborhoods and people that it reminds me of, but, you know, I just didn't live there.
Yeah. Let's see. Flip brings up that a lot of people are talking about how they felt the absence of Luann and Lucky, but he didn't even notice. I did notice that Luann wasn't there at all. I kind of want to know what happened to her. They didn't even bring it up, like what's going on with Luann. I don't care if she's still with Lucky or not or anything. That doesn't matter to me at all. I would just like to know. I don't even care if they pop back up in the show. It would just be cool. Maybe one random episode, it starts off with you just hearing Peggy's side of a phone call with her or something like that. You know, like the VAs don't even have to come back. Just like a little information drop is all I care about.
Who is in the polyamorous relationship?
Connie. Con Jr.?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was Luann that was in that. That's interesting. Okay. I completely forgot that she existed.
Yeah. It's like the cousin who like moved in with them and lived with them for like the entirety of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Who, like, if you want to talk about anybody in the show is brain dead, it was Luann.
Yeah. Well, so wait, was Connie with Bobby or not?
In high school.
So I thought they were...
So what happened was, this is
Yeah.
the story of what happened while they were gone. Hank and Peggy ended up moving to Saudi Arabia. Hank was like some type of propane manager for some like facility there. And they were living great. A lot of the city or the little neighborhood they lived in, there was like a closed gate neighborhood, looked like they just lived in Texas. Like there's a little slice of green in Saudi Arabia. Actually, kind of almost looks like the Arizona neighborhood we're in right now, where some people have like lawns and stuff like that, even though there shouldn't be any lawns here. And
Yeah.
from what I can gather in the opening, because they don't tell you exactly what happened, I think Bobby went with them until he finished high school, because they do all hug Bobby goodbye when he load up into the car to go off to the airport. And then I think he came back first. and has lived here since he graduated high school. He has a business that he runs. He's a chef at a Japanese-German fusion rabata restaurant that he is like part owners of. And he moved in with Joseph, and they live in an apartment in Dallas. Then, he's like 21 now, so a few years later, his parents come back to experience their retirement. They move back into the same house where a guy named, is his name Brian Robinson? It's funny, I have a friend named Brian Robinson. But he was voiced by Keith David, who the Robinsons were living in their house the whole time they were gone. They ended up moving out again so that the Hills could have their house back. And now life just brings back up. Apparently, other things that happened while they were gone. Oh my God, Nancy. I was trying to remember her name. Nancy Dribble and John Redcorn have like a YouTube channel about real estate that they do together. And everybody raves about their chemistry, which, you know, it's funny. They have to keep up the cuckolding jokes on Dale. You can't lose that. Like I said, Bill was just inside the whole time. Boomhauer is kind of in like a semi-stepdad like role because he's been dating this girl that already has a son, and the kid kind of looks up to him. Just, I don't know, maybe Boomhauer's better than he used to be, but he's probably one of the worst people you could look up to. That dude was sleeping with like every woman in Arlen at one point in time. I think probably the only person worse than him to look up to it would be Bill, right? But that's kind of what everybody's been doing. And then you find out many episodes later that while Khan and Min has still been together, they've actually been divorced for 2 years. And they've been keeping it a secret, and Khan's been living in the garage. Because in their culture, right, they would lose basically community support if they found out that they got divorced, because it's like a big, just like red X on you, and that would also make between their Laotian community locally kind of take like Connie off of being a desirable wife as well, because she comes from a divorced household, even though she's already an adult before they divorced. But that's just like how they're really uptight culture. They were always really uptight, right? So, you know, everybody's lives are a mess, and almost nobody wants to admit that their life is a mess.
But like, how is she gonna? What difference does it make if she'd be a good wife if she doesn't even admit that she's divorced?
No. So Min is the one that would admit, but like Connie being the daughter of divorced parents are the ones that people found out.
Oh,
people eventually find out. Right, so that kind of puts an X on her, but that's only for their like Laotian community. Like, if she gets back together with Bobby, that doesn't matter at all, which is the person she clearly wants to be with anyway. But everybody was estranged. Like, they run back into Connie. She gets brought back into the friend group because, you know, Bobby was gone. He came back and everything. It's fun. It's fun to see like all the relationships kind of just like pick back up. Good Hank,
it's funny how shows like this kind of do that.
If you know about Hank. Good Hank. Yeah. So in the series, Cotton Hill had another son, a baby, and he called him Good Hank. Now, I'm not going to let you turn out as bad as that Hank, right? And Cotton's dead. So Good Hank is like a teenager now, and he's Hank's half-brother. So I can't remember her name, but Cotton's other wife, the younger one that had Good Hank, kind of like talks Hank into taking care of him for the summer because he needs a positive male role model. And they actually make fun of like Andrew Tate in that episode, and it was pretty funny. I kind of liked that. But it was overall, it was a really good episode with Good Hank, and that boy, he's not quite Dee. Thank you. He's not quite all right, but he's getting there.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I remember Cotton.
I liked Cotton. He was one of my favorite characters in the show. Fitty man. I shot down 50 men.
I don't know what that means.
Because he was in Nam, or was it Korea? I can't remember which one it was. But he was in one of those like proxy wars. That's where he lost his shins. That's why he was so short, because they basically, his feet were fine, but they grafted it like right onto his knees. So he was just like pegging around on his thighs. And that's like his big thing, is that he shot and killed 50 men.
Oh.
And
Well, did you know Khan is an anagram for Hank?
Yes. Yeah, I did know that.
Sorry.
Or was he in World War II? I can't remember exactly what he was in. He was in some proxy war, but I know that he did fight Germans at one point, I think. And that comes up in the series because there's a whole cultural appropriation like little thing that they were making fun of. And like the grandson of one of the 50 men was one of the people criticizing Bobby's restaurant. He's like, you wouldn't have any relation to Cotton Hill, would you? He's like, yeah, he's my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, he killed my grandfather. He's like, I must have been one of the 50 men.
Was it World War II? I don't think so, because
Khan was pretty damn
didn't he
old.
have a problem?
But he had a problem
Well,
with Khan. Not Khan,
yeah.
Cotton was old.
He had a problem with Khan.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
kept calling him
Cotton.
like Korean or Nam, or I can't remember
Yeah.
what he called him.
It might have been the Korean War. It's
Yeah.
possible.
But I wouldn't be surprised, like, because I don't remember. I watched every episode, but it's been a long time since I've watched them. He could have been in both wars for all I know. It's like Cotton's the type of guy that might have like signed back up, and so he could go shoot more people.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know about like if it. I think we're past that point, because anyone who was in World War II would be over 100 now.
Yeah.
I think. But he could have been in the Korean War. That was probably it. At any rate.
You know, I think I agree with Flit, because he says pre-revival, Cotton, Khan, and Dale were the three funniest characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cotton is dead now.
Yeah. But I mean, in the original show, he would have been even older.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be
I
like
think.
in his 60s, maybe, which would have been, I think, too young to be in World War II
Or-
at the time.
Yeah, maybe 70s or 80 or something,
Yeah.
but even that would have been too young. My grandfather was in
Yeah.
World War II, and he was born in 1919, so he'd be 106 now.
But I would have to
It says
say
in
in
shit.
this one, oh yeah, he appreciates the looks of all three German characters that were in that episode. Yeah, they did look very German.
Mm.
But if I'd say the three funniest characters in the revival, Joseph is by far the funniest. I think he goes on top for sure. I'm trying to think who else I would probably put after that.
No, actually, Fitzjoseph's right. He was in
Oh,
World
was
War
World War
II.
II? Okay.
Yeah.
So Cotton was already really, really old in the original show.
Oh, so he must have fought in the Pacific Theater.
Okay, that makes
Apparently, he
sense.
fought against the Japanese. I was like, well, why did he have such a problem with, Khan or whatever?
Yeah,
Because he fought against the Japanese.
Yeah, so Joseph is number one by far. I don't think anybody else comes close to him. I think Dale might actually still be in the list. Like, voice acting aside, with the guy being ill, a lot of his lines and stuff are still just good. Like the writing's good around him. So, but Joseph's also like little Dale. So if like one of them was good, a lot of them were doing many of the same things. So you'd expect both of them to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But who would I put in number 3?
I don't know.
That's actually probably the toughest one there. So non-recurring
Dee Dee was
character,
spelled
probably Willow.
D-I-D-I.
What'd you say?
Said apparently Dee Dee is spelled D-I-D-I.
That doesn't surprise me. I would actually probably say my third, but she probably won't be coming back, is Willow. I thought Willow was hilarious, and she was like this hippie chick that was stealing the fat, like the tallow grease, from the back of the restaurant that Bobby worked at, and they ended up dating, and because she was using it to make soaps, kind of like how in Fight Club they were stealing the liposuction fat to make soap, and they ended up dating for a little bit. And I think for recurring character coming back, Emilio's probably my third. And I was going to say that, but Willow would definitely beat Emilio out if I knew she was coming back. But she ended up getting them tickets to. You think Willow's supposed to come back? I hope so. Getting them tickets to the cowboy training camp for like the adult vacation thing because her dad used to work for them. And she was just bonkers all over the place, but in a believable way that you'd expect like a weird crystal liking, homemade soaps, hippie vegan to be. And she took a shit right on Jerry Jones' desk, which, mad respect for her because I know plenty of people who've always wanted to take a shit on his desk. So I liked her a lot. I do hope she comes back. She doesn't need to be dating Bobby, but she should come back in like other facets. But I think that's my list. I think it's Joseph, then I think it's Dale, then Willow. But if she doesn't come back, it's probably going to be Emilio, just because if you have more screen time than somebody, you just have more chance to be funnier.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's all I need to say about King of the Hill. Yep.
That sounds good. I might have to. I think I'm more likely to watch that than City. To tell you the truth.
Really?
I have watched quite a bit of King of the Hill. Yeah. I wasn't really into it, and I kind of like dropped off the last half of the however many seasons it was, but I'd like to watch it again. Like to see the new stuff. What where is that? Where can I
Hulu.
find that? Oh.
It's all
we
on
have
Hulu.
Hulu?
Yes. I watched it legally.
Oh yeah. Interesting. Oh yeah, I guess I got it free with the phone or with my phone.
Something.
Or something.
Yeah.
Did you know they're folding Hulu into Disney Plus?
Yes.
At which point, I guess we'll be dropping it. Well,
Yeah.
actually,
maybe. I don't
as
know.
long as we're on the subject.
Yeah, Gina looks like she's winning her lawsuit, so.
Yeah. Well, they settled. It's over. It's completely
okay.
over.
Well, a settlement is a win to me,
Yeah.
so that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's a good question. And yeah, I mean, we're changing the subject for the last couple minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was announced. Gina Carano announced that she had settled with Disney, and they made an announcement saying the same thing, and they were pleased that they came to a settlement and that they were basically considering her for new roles in the future.
Yeah.
Hiring. So does that mean we can get Disney Plus now?
Well, that's always up to you.
Because I definitely,
I never had that much of a problem.
well,
My thing was I had no desire to get anything that was on Disney Plus.
yeah, I don't know what's on there that
Yeah.
I'd be interested in, but once Hulu gets folded into it,
Yeah.
we'll have to see. But and they probably offer periodic free trials or whatever.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
But I tell you, I believe I did have Disney Plus at the time, and I canceled it on the day they fired Gina Carano.
Yeah,
So
I remember that because
and
you said so. I think even
never-
on the show.
yeah, never looked back.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess as long as if there's anything interesting, I guess I don't need to what's the word, philosophically be boycotting.
Yeah.
It would only be if there's nothing on. So
It sounded like you stopped yourself from
Yeah.
saying, "I'll tell you what."
that is okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying I guess there's no reason besides content to, decide whether, because it didn't matter if they had the most amazing shows or movies, ever in existence. I still wasn't going to give them any money.
Split did have a question about the animation. From what he's seen, that's most people's biggest criticism with the new King of the Hill. Well, I mean, I haven't seen too much criticism with the animation myself. Most people I've seen, their criticism has been like the voice of Khan specifically. And some people were like really upset about Connie trying to ethical non-monogamy and a few of the different character things. I'm like, this makes it their characters, and it's a bit, and it ends. Like, I don't get the upset there. But if you've seen it, you're probably just running in different circles. As far as animation, I would say the total animation, like the average shot, is probably on par with the original. It's a lot crisper, but everything has to be done digitally now. So I think that's a big difference. Like, the saturation in your average shot is better just because it's being done with digital colors. But that kind of like faded saturation from the cell paint kind of has like a certain vibe to it that in some ways I like more. But I think there's actually shots in it that are way better than the original, though. Because some of the shots that were always good were the mechanical shots, like if Hank is setting something up, whether he's working in a car, fixing up propane to something, or like the food cooking shots. They always had really good animated shots like that in the show. And there's like shots for Bobby's cooking, and those shots look amazing. Like, I think way better than they did in the original. So I think maybe a lot of people's complaints are valid. Like Fizz brings up, Faded Cell was kind of part of the original show's identity, and you're just not going to be able to really get past that. But if I'm talking about quality of animation, I think it might actually be better than the original show overall.
I guess that's what just people don't want. That they don't want better.
Yeah,
they want the same.
And there's things you could do if you want to take the extra time, put some filters on, color match, fade some things out to make it look like that digitally. But maybe they just don't think there's a desire for that. I think that's what it comes down to a lot, is that a lot of these studios don't think that that's what people want to look at. They're like, well, it's old and it looks tired. But then you'll go onto the internet and you'll see people go through all those hoops to make their like indie animation look like that. It's like, no, you could do it. You just have to do a lot of extra work. But yeah, I thought the animation's fine. It is not a complaint at all for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's more muted colors. Yeah. Why can't they kind of emulate the look? I don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard.
Maybe they
Like, you
want
could literally, you could just color match. Like, you could use a color picker to take the color, and you could use the exact same colors. That's how I make a lot of my art. If anybody's seen, like, I'll do like mock anime screenshots that'll look like they're done from like the late 80s or the early 90s. Especially, like, sometimes I'll do something that should be in Ranma or whatever. I will literally color pick from the screenshots that I want so that it looks the same. It's not hard to do. And once you have the color in your palette, it's not hard to continuously do it. Especially, like, there's not a lot of shading or blending in King of the Hill. A lot of it, what you could just define the area and paint fill it,
Yeah.
But, I do think it's the studio just doesn't think that's what people want to look at on a digital screen. right? Like, you have to actually let people know that's what you want, or else studios will never do that, because they'll think, like, why would somebody want to look at something old? But I think the character designs are also fine too, which is a big part of the animation. I could totally see the way the characters are drawn now being in the original show if they were like did a flash forward what if future episode. So I think it's ultimately fine, you know. And that's all I've got to say about King of the Hill. I'll tell you what.
Very good.
So yeah, I think we're past time. It was a good time to close out the show. Thank you guys for coming. Remember, share the show out with other people. Get more people in. We'll always have a really good time here. And if you really like the show, you can give a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitorium live. Really helps us out. And we'll see you guys no later than Thursday for Game Central Junction. See ya then.
Thanks for watching.